spiritual belief or that there is something else going on there, because I don't think we would attract any of these things on purpose. But I do believe there's some kind of reason on a much bigger scale that we have no comprehension about. And that's, we do attract things in, but it's for some other big plan reason that we really don't know about.
Yeah, it's not that we're bringing disease on the planet. We're not bringing, disability on ourselves, etc., etc. What it is, it's about how you deal with what life throws at you.
Yeah.
And life might throw at you that you lose your parents at a young age. Life might throw at you that, you live with severe disability, but it's not that you're causing that. It's that you're causing your reaction to that.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm sure everybody's heard those quotes. It's not the circumstances, it's how you react to the circumstances. And that's really the only thing we can control, is how we react. And when we're programmed from a young age, the epiphany, one of the turning moments in my NLP training, is I had gone for 2 different times, and I remember them saying, think of some of your limiting beliefs that you have, and it really takes a bit of introspection, because we all just think we're normal and we're fine and everything, to actually sit there and go, right, is there something not wrong with you, but is there something that's not serving me, or is there something, what do I think about money, what do I think about relationships, what do I think about sex, what do I think about all these big things that call life. And I remember having what I thought was the silliest belief, that pavlovas were the hardest thing to bake. Now, I don't know if any of the listeners here have ever baked a pavlova. I had never tried to bake one, because my belief system subconsciously had programmed me to believe that they were the hardest thing in the world on the planet to bake. And that was because my mother said that to me constantly growing up. She loved pavlovas. The both of us still love pavlova. And I just remember there was something in the recesses of my mind that reminded me that she thought they were the hardest thing to bake on the planet, and it was all about the oven, and it had to be open, no it wasn't open, and then you had to close it, and then it had to be high, and it had to be low, there had to be salt, no salt, there had to be vinegar, no vinegar, there was so many things about this pavlova that nobody could bake a pavlova except the absolute professionals. And I just queried it, and I brought it with me as one of my limiting beliefs, and thought, right, so let's make a pavlova. Let's see what we can do about this. And you can get a lot of treatments and therapies and all these different sort of techniques, but I literally sat in the room with the group and went, well, actually, you know what, I'm just going to decide today, and that's a very powerful statement. I'm just going to make a decision from this moment forward that they're the easiest things to bake. And that is literally all. I just made a decision.
Did you prove it to yourself then?
Well, I came home.
And why did you not have a pavlova?
I came home and I went to my mother and I said, do you have a recipe? I didn't have phones and Googles and all that stuff. Do you have a recipe for pavlova? And she got out the book that she'd had for 20 years.
Was it the home?
Really old, like Reader's Digest or something book.
I think we have a copy of that.
And really oldie from the 60s or 70s. And she was like, yes, and took it out. And then somebody had written her ingredients and instructions.
Little slips of paper in the book.
And they were slightly different. So which one do we do? Do we do the vinegar, the salt, blah, blah, blah. And she nearly passed out at the idea of me making a pavlova, because they're the hardest thing to bake. And I was like, okay, so eggs and sugar. Okay. That's basically it. Eggs and sugar. And you whisk it all up and buck it in the oven. And some people say vinegar. For any of the experts out there, I apologise if I'm stepping on toes. You can put vinegar in, you can put salt in, you can put vanilla essence, all these different things. But I started making pavlovas, and I've made them with salt, without salt. I've made them with vinegar, without vinegar. I've made them with the oven kept closed, with the oven tucked open. I've made them 40 different ways, and they all come out like a pavlova. And you just slap a lock of cream on it, and it's a pavlova. And it was just this epiphany of, are you freaking kidding me? Like, for years, okay, maybe it's not the most important thing in the world, knowing how to make a pavlova, but being aware that was in my subconscious, that they were the hard, because my mother believed that. So we take on a lot of programming from And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it's a fact that that's how we live. That's what happens in life. So we take on a lot of programming from, family, from television, from friends, from our churches, from our leaders, from our schools, our institute, our government. There's so many things that we're programmed with. So that, to me, they're affecting our lives. What we believe, a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking.
Yeah.
And it becomes ingrained. And, literally in a heartbeat, I changed my belief about pavlova. So it's that, if anybody's just joined us, this is not a baking program.
I can be skinny, right? I now believe it.
Absolutely. You can do whatever you want. That's the start of it, deciding. But I just thought to myself, if that's what I think about pavlovas, what am I thinking about?
About the serious
proper stuff, real stuff, life stuff, money, finances, weight, health, relationships. And it really makes you start to question, but you have to be open to questioning yourself. And that's the thing, a lot of people don't want to do it, and that's fine if you're not in that place, and you're happy to knock yourself out. If everything's fabulous in your life, brilliant. I suppose it's if there's anything in your life where you feel, I would like that to be different. I think another thing is that certainly when I look back, nobody ever told me I couldn't be things or do things, but I wasn't necessarily told I could be things.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in this neutral state of, well, life just happens. Mm-hmm. And then when you start to, experience different things, meet different people, travel, you start going, well, what if? I remember going to Florida many years ago, the first time I went. It's in the blog. Well, it's mentioned in the blog. There'll be another blog about Florida. I remember I was in my early 20s, and it was my first big trip away, and it was for a year, and it was a cross-community programme, and I took photographs of everything and anything. I was taking photographs of everything. I just couldn't believe I was in Florida, and I loved taking photographs because my father had taken lots of photographs growing up, funny enough. And I remember somebody saying to me, "Oh, do you study photography?" And I'm like, no. What do you mean? Can you do photography what? You could do photography as a job? All right. No, that wasn't in my belief system. And it sounds very simple, but they were like, oh, you're not doing photography, or it's a passion, obviously, blah, blah. The company ended up using my photographs in some of their literature that went around the world, and it's like, but I've never considered being a photographer. It just was not in my belief system.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is. My parents,
nobody
went to university. You grew up, you got married, got a job in the local area, worked Monday to Friday, did whatever.
And you were lucky if the factory didn't close down.
Absolutely. Factory work, shops, that kind of thing. So it's just we're programmed so much, and we don't realise it. And it's come to that point. It's just that thing where you go, is this what I want? Is this the life I want? Do I want to change something? We don't all want to be mega rock stars with £50 million in the bank and the 2 yachts and the 10 cars. We don't actually all want to.
One of them would do.
Well, we might, But people go, oh, everybody wants to have all. No, it's not about all that stuff. A lot of people want to be content in their home, maybe just in a loving relationship, to be able to go to their 9-to-5 job, and so everybody wants something different.
Yeah.
So it's just really educating people. I think one of the most important things is educating people that you can change. Mm-hmm. Change is possible. Change is possible.
NLP, okay, suddenly sounds like the answer to everything, but you didn't stop there. That's not where you stopped in the training and the discovery. And
I've studied Reiki and trained in it. I teach Reiki, a thing called Sakine, which is a bit like Reiki. IET, integrated energy therapy. What else have I done? I have been really into the law of attraction, and my big thing would be the power of intention in your mind. Mm-hmm. Again, linked into a lot of them are all linked into the NLP side of things, and all about learning what are the tools you need now to actually create your life. So it's like using a lot of the therapies. I needed a lot of those therapies to get rid of stuff that was stuck in me. And then when you start reading and learning about all these other techniques and tools and implementing them, that's how change happens. Mm-hmm. That's how you actually change your life. And the one thing that over the years that I had to learn to do big time was to speak up.
Yeah.
Now, people that know me would go, Deborah, you do not have a problem talking. I can't get you to stop. But there's a difference between talking and expressing yourself.
Yeah.
It's completely different, really being honest and saying how you feel, knowing how you feel. And that has been a big journey of mine, as to really, sounds very cliche, getting to know yourself and who you really are. And once I'm still a work in progress, but I've realised then over the last 6 to 9 months that actually speaking was one of my gifts.
Yeah.
And speaking and writing are sort of my gifts and talents. So it's what I'm currently in the process of doing, is using all the knowledge that I have, all these different therapies and treatments, and I would be very big into energy and how we talk about energy. And a lot of people think it's all weird, but when you talk about it, it's very normal. You know, we all feel the vibes. We all sort of meet people and go, I don't like that vibe, or she has a lovely vibe. So it's about making everything a bit more normal. And I continue to, go and do things to learn new things. And I was recently back in Orlando at the Lisa Nichols conference, which was just absolutely amazing, learning about how to tell your stories and how to speak and how to sort of connect with people. So I suppose my mission in life is for everyone to be empowered. And be empowered is about everybody has what they need within them to really do, be, see, go, whatever they want to do. And it's helping people. So my mission is to help people figure that out and become aware of that, and set them off on their journey and help them along their journey.
And of course that's what your groups and your sessions and your workshops and stuff are all. So we've got one coming up before Christmas, and then some programs, I believe, coming up after Christmas.
Yes, working on a few things at the moment, which will be launched in January, and working on the blog. So excited. And yes, there'll be one coming up on the 11th of December. And it will be, I'm just finalising.
And we're delighted, we're going to be hosting
the agenda.
Here.
Absolutely, I'm so excited. Can't wait. More purple. Maybe that would be the
here
thing.
At Camelot for one night only.
More purple. So yes, that's on the 11th of December, and it's for women. This particular one it's for women. And if anybody wants details, keep an eye on my page, or you can send me an email. The details are all there on the page. Deborah King Be Empowered with 2 E's. If anybody's interested, I have ran a few groups in different areas, so this will actually be the first one in Belfast.
Oh wow!
Because I've recently moved closer to Belfast, so you can watch this space for that coming in. I really, actually, something that I have forgotten to say that I should say here is I was actually never diagnosed with depression. I think this is an important thing if anybody's listening to this. I diagnosed myself. I self-diagnosed, but I think it's just important to let people know that this is, it's my journey. This is sort of my truth. And as a result, I never took medication for it. Okay. I was never on medication, and that's not to say people may not need medication. I just had it for about 15 or 20 years and didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
So no technical sort of medical diagnosis as such. But
is there a technical medical diagnosis? I mean, I think it's opinion based, based on evidence.
It is opinion based, and one of my other blogs that you'll just blog.
Right?
Listening to me about the blogs. During my decluttering phase, which is still an ongoing, constantly
as a hoarder in remission, I know how you feel.
Love a hoarder. Love to get hands on a hoarder. At one point when I was decluttering, I came across a project that I had written as a child.
Wow.
When I was 11 or 12. It was in the big school. So it was 11 or 12. I was the youngest in my year, so it could have been 11. And it's just really for all of you out there who maybe are not happy or thinking of job changes, or what you're really, your purpose in life. Because I find a lot of people I seem to talk to, that's one of the things that they know there's something bigger and better out there for them, and they just don't quite know what it is. Ask your former self, ask your 11-year-old self, your 10-year-old, your 9-year-old self what you wanted to do and be. And I had read this in a book years ago, and kind of blew my mind once I